Yo. This is episode 22 of the Duke London podcast. In Pirate Studios, which is probably you guys have seen them do some, like, people have been rehearsing at their studios and stuff, which is really cool. I think they're 24 hours and the rent is really cheap and stuff. And we're giving the podcast studios a try, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's cool. And I'm here with Ivan Blackstock. Thanks for being here, man.
All good, my brother.
We're a bit far away from each other, but it's all good. Not used to this.
Social distance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
So Ivan is a sick guest for me. I feel like I'm talking about you as if you're not here. No, but Ivan, I think you have been, like, whether you know it or not, I think, like, a big part of my dance journey, like, since the beginning, which is really cool. I remember, like, I think, like, you and Quayle were, like, some of the first dancers that I, like, looked up to. Do you remember the club gel competition?
Yeah, gosh. Trauma.
Yeah. Well, you probably had definitely a different experience of it than me. But, yeah, basically, so for anyone that doesn't know you, you're obviously a choreographer, a dancer. Mm-hmm. You were, like, for me, one of the kind of first generation of, like, UK hip-hop freestylers, because we didn't have loads. You've, I mean, done way more than that now into, like, movement direction and probably more, like, creative projects and video stuff. That's and right. Just, I see you evolving into more of, like, an all-round creative, I guess. Yeah, man, like I said, like, the first competition I ever entered, I think, were you judging? I know Quayle was.
Was it the London one you did? No, I didn't do the London one.
Right.
I was maybe made excuses or.
But did you perform with Bird? You performed with Bird?
No, I wasn't at that because I remember they were kind of telling me who kind of came through. I remember your name came through. I didn't know. Did Cashmere go to that one?
I'm not sure. Maybe pull the mic just in front of your face.
Yeah. I can't remember.
There was definitely bare people there.
I remember that you came through.
Yeah, and it was because I remember basically for anyone that wasn't around for that time, there was this competition which ended up being a nightmare. It was like the first competition I ever entered, and
oh really?
Yeah, first time I ever like did anything basically. I found because I went to Move It. I had done classes.
Yeah.
Went to Move It. They told me about this, and then I went and did like I was just like I'm going to do a solo there. Went pretty much by myself.
How old were you then?
18, 17.
18. Okay.
And yeah, and then from there they were like, I think I didn't get through, but I got like really nice feedback from Quayle and those guys. And then they were like, oh, come to like Birdgang class on Saturdays. And then I was like religiously started going to the pineapple class.
Yeah.
And that was like, I met Sim and Kendra there, but I think it was more you and Quayle that were teaching at that time.
That's right.
And yeah, I feel like you've kind of been someone that I've always looked up to in a way, in the sense of like doing the same stuff that I wanted to do, but I always felt like a good 5 or 10 years ahead of me, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh, that's where I want to be in my future. And then I get to there and then I'm like, oh, now he's doing this. That's what I wanted. And it always seems to be like on a, obviously not the same sort of stuff, but a similar vibe. So yeah, that's really cool. So it's really nice that you're here, and thanks for being here.
Thanks for asking me. I was actually kind of waiting for you. I'm seeing everyone on here.
That's good though. I like that. Yeah, no, I definitely, there's like a list of people that I want to have on, and yeah, so I'm getting there as and when I can. Just thinking if there's anything else I wanted to say about you. I think, yeah, I'm so interested to hear a lot about you. Let's start at the beginning, if you don't mind. because
How long is your podcast?
it's going to be about an hour and a half. No, because what I wanted to ask you about was the Bird situation, because I first knew you as Bird, and
Yeah.
Birdgang also holds like a massive like special place in my heart. I think it was like the Bird Net at Britain Convention, and some of the classes and stuff. That was like what really drew me into dance and made me want to take it seriously. And I was watching, like, there was a freestyle session with like you and Quayle and some other people in like a small dark studio. I don't know if you know that. It was just
we used to just try and do bare content back then as well.
There was just some random shit on YouTube, and I used to watch that and like be like, oh yeah, I want to do stuff like that. So how did you go from being like one of the, I guess, like main people in Bird, and kind of what was the transition? Because now you're officially like not a director of Birdgang anymore, or
it kind of, there's many different reasons why I left and tried to go on a different path. And for me, I think just generally, I just don't like doing the same thing.
Okay.
You know, and one of the reasons was that, I wanted something new, to be honest. Also, I wanted to affect people differently.
Okay.
And engage with people differently. So at the time, part of it was the best way to do that was doing this thing. And that was working with different groups of dancers and different groups of artists, and working with a different kind of artistic community. Because sometimes I do feel dancers are in Neverland, you know, and I still catch up with some people and it feels like it's in the same loop. And I'm like, wow, I feel like nothing has changed. And artistically, I wanted to just come out of the world of just being a dancer or just a choreographer. And when I was kind of linking up with fine artists, cinematographers, fashion designers, it just sounded amazing because financially of where they saw themselves going was a lot wider and a lot bigger and a lot more ambitious than some dancers. You know, at the time when I was speaking to dancers, oh, cool, where do you see yourself in 5-10 years time? It was just like, I see myself choreographing for this artist or kind of opening a studio. I'm like, it's the same thing.
It's the same goals.
Same loop. And fashion designers was like, I want to collaborate with this brand, collaborate with this person, put my artistic voice into this medium. And I was just like, whoa, I haven't found that community at the time within in the dance world. It was like, okay, how can I build something and what is that thing? And that over time it became cross-platform.
Right.
Originally I was like, okay, I want to put my people on. And it started to form into, okay, I want to do a festival. Okay, I want to do a hip hop festival. And then the whole thing of hip hop, and at the time, what does it mean? Are you hip hop? Are you all of this stuff? And it's like, well, yes, I am, but I'm a lot more than that. Same as dance. Yes, I'm a dancer, but I'm a lot more than a dancer.
So do you feel like the kind of, because Bird had a pocket that they sat in, and that's a thing that they kind of, as a company, it's different. I mean, the evolution is maybe a bit slower because there's more of you, and you've also got more people to consider everybody's direction.
I'm not too sure how it runs in management, but at the time it was like everyone has an equal say, you know, and there are kind of a lot of alphas within the management, and, you know, everyone wants kind of their own thing, and because they are all really strong leaders, and, you know, I felt that I couldn't necessarily do everything that was kind of bubbling in my head, you know, so I decided to part ways of that and kind of go on a new journey. And it was, and it has been a very hard one, you know, because it's like leaving the family home, you know, and or moving to another country, that's how it kind of felt. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, so how do I do this? And like, okay, usually that person would do it, and now I have to find a way how to do it myself or
Right.
figure it out. But yeah, I went on a whole new kind of journey, and now that's led me to set up cross-platform, which we are, it depends who we're speaking to.
Yeah.
It could be a creative agency, an arts organization. But yeah, basically we look to showcase new directions and new approaches to street culture. And we are basically, we've built a bridge between kind of art and commerce. So we work with a lot of cultural institutions from the South Bank Centre to the Greenwich Peninsula. But also we've worked with like Nike and like the Red Bulls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And within that, we have an annual festival in Peckham on the road I grew up on.
Sick.
So that feels lovely of kind of coming back home, because I left home quite early at 15, escaping many different kind of domestic traumas. So it felt lovely to kind of come back there. I'm doing kind of how can I say? I'm kind of doing a hyper focused thing at the moment in Peckham.
Okay.
I've been doing that for the past few years. So even I'm working on a production which will be coming to Peckham next year, 21.
Is that like a kind of the reason you're hyper focusing is like to kind of give back to the area?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think that's always been within me, and divulging a bit, but I've kind of done other little stuff such as Poverty Kicks, which was a charitable dance event where we kind of basically put on series of workshops, which we had like Mamson, Clara, Kenrick, and a few other people come through. And basically all the proceeds goes to a third world country, which we focus in Zambia and Ghana. And all the shoes, because people donated shoes, and money would go to an orphanage within those places.
Nice.
But yeah, with cross-platform, we put on have an annual festival as well as these partnership events. We also do consultancy for cultural institutions and brands, and as well as commission artists to make work on their own terms. Nice.
And so, because cross-platform, from what I understand, is like street culture and technology.
Yeah. Well,
or was that just the first one?
It was like, as I said, it was like, originally it was like hip hop.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, I need to find a more umbrella term for all the other stuff I'm interested in and other dope artists I'm seeing kind of across the board and, UK and beyond. So street culture felt like the closest fit, for like DIY youth culture. So it is kind of street culture, DIY culture, and youth culture kind of combined.
Right.
It's kind of hard because people don't like to be boxed in. And that was the kind of the widest umbrella term at that time.
Yeah.
Now it's like, DIY, youth, and other stuff. But it basically it's the new transmissions that's coming out of the underground scene.
Okay.
And the idea of it is to showcase the spectrum from people that are doing stuff in their bedroom to artists that are working with the likes of Jay-Z and Beyonce, for instance.
Like you did. what a segue.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of feel about the let's say like paradox of becoming successful with an underground art form? Because do you feel like as soon as you become successful, it becomes less underground, or you become less when it's not, if you're doing street culture, but now you're kind of being successful with street culture, where's the line between it not being street culture anymore? You know what I mean? Because if all the street culture is on stages and big platforms and in music videos and stuff, is it still the same culture that that it was?
Well, that's where, in a sense, I wanted to transition into curating more and being a director and also being a leader. Because I am getting older. I'm 34 now. But part of me was I could be Loaded Lux, if we're looking at like underground rap, Loaded Lux, or I could be, in a sense, Jay-Z. Yeah, I want to be the Jay-Z of dance and this thing. So,
because I think even with you've got street culture and then even like the youth culture, like all of that stuff, it's like it's hard to put a label on any of this stuff because it transcends all of that. You know what I mean? Like you said, you're 34
and also
now.
like I wanted to start getting paid.
Yeah.
Because I was speaking to someone earlier who was mentoring that like I've been on survival mode for so long, you know, and that's how I feel like I acquired certain positions where I'm at now because I tried everything.
Yeah.
You know, but part of me also, I wanted to be the guy. I don't know what that really means, you know, but like in dance and like street culture, art, I wanted to be, the guy. He's just dope.
In terms of how people see you, or in terms of what you can provide, or
Yeah, at the time it was visibility,
Yeah.
you know, because I've never felt like people, can we swear?
yeah,
Fuck with me,
yeah.
you know, like, and
Like, how long? When did you start feeling that, and do you still feel that now?
yes,
Interesting.
I suffer from imposter syndrome.
Really?
And, you know, like even just the whole visual, for instance, my Instagram,
Yeah.
that's interesting because I don't really show my eyes. I don't really show my face that much. Some of my artistic kind of outputs has been like distorting my face and stuff like that. But I've dealt with kind of body dysmorphia at a very young age.
Okay.
I felt that also when I used to look at myself in pictures, I just thought, I don't look good, you know?
Okay.
And I have certain friends who are good looking and great, or we used to model and do certain things, and I used to sometimes sit next to them like, I don't look like that.
Right.
You know? So over time, I felt like I've built this kind of weird enigma thing that's over here, and people call it creative. People call it, he's doing this genius thing and he's in the lab building something. But
for you, it was almost like creating like a safe space for yourself.
and an identity, like a superhero. You
And
know?
I guess also it's like an internal thing that if you dictate the terms of what or who you are, you can't be judged on anyone else's standards, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if you create what your art has to be and your image and your look is very different, then no one can say like, oh, you are or aren't as good looking or as cool as this other guy because you're your own thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, I don't fit into, but I'm doing this thing over here. And I think it all started from like home, you know, like I had a very lovely upbringing, but I had also a really hard upbringing, you know, and I left home at 15 to move with my grandma and kind of fleeing kind of domestic abuse in many different shapes and forms.
Right.
And it's kind of like over time I feel like I've been looking for acceptance in many different forms, you know.
That's so interesting.
Even in like, how can I say, for a very long time I was very mute. A lot of people say, Ivan's really quiet, you know, but I had people around me, maybe not the people that were healthy and like uplifting me, like, just don't speak, just like, you sound dumb. Or like,
really?
I failed all my schooling.
Right.
You know, I have no GCSEs, I have no degrees, I have no diplomas, no nothing. So for a very long time, pretty much up into my mid-20s, I thought I was pretty much stupid, you know? But I had to find different sort of circles and people to uplift me. And part of that, I still kind of feel like I'm still looking for acceptance.
Who would you say you're looking for acceptance from? Is it like the scene? Is it the kind of powers that be or the like gatekeepers, or is it society?
Yes. So where I'm at now is it's like self-acceptance.
Interesting.
You know, like last year I decided to take therapy.
Okay, nice.
And that was super helpful, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of getting over a lot of demons and, you know, but for a very long time it was from the scene.
Right. Do you think that was
from my
you
peers.
projecting it to them when actually it was meant to be from you? Or do you think part of it was that you wanted that acceptance from the scene and from outside?
At the time, yeah.
Okay, right.
At the time, yeah, but like I think that us as humans, we don't say you're amazing enough. well done, gratitude, big people up, you know, and we do it from afar, or we do it through pressing the like button, you know, but like that's not healthy. We need to, you know, communicate a lot more and come on more on a human level. So there are times when I get trapped in the social media trap where I'm like waiting for someone to press like or someone to follow. Someone's like, yeah, you're sick, you know. But yeah, now for a while, I haven't really been posting as much. Like I wanted to be like, so how do I build my engagement? How do I get people to know that I'm trying to do this thing and trying to save the world and like, you know, show people that I'm amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and I need to also say that to myself a lot more because I never used to say that, you know, but now certain opportunities has come into my life and certain people have come into my life and I've been doing a lot of inner work. I've been doing kind of inner work for the past 5 years. And I think that's part of also, as I said, there's many different reasons why I left Birdgang, but it was also to go on that inner journey.
Right.
And not rely on people to lean on because I felt like I've relied on people to get me where I'm at for a very long time, even though it felt like I've been doing this independent thing, but I was looking for that acceptance. Like, yeah, that's sick, Ivan. And, you know, do that, you know, but now it's just like, okay, I have to believe it's dope and that's right. And, or like, no, it's okay to fail, you know? I was saying to my lady the other day that, I feel that schooling has really fucked me up, you know, because I used to get F's, E's, D's and stuff like that. So sometimes when I'm writing emails or putting a pitch together or doing any work, I am reminded subconsciously that you could easily get an E, an F, a fail, and it's not good enough, you know? And even when I'll go home and do my homework and I put all my heart and, you know, all my effort into it and I'll hand it in or show someone, it's like, nah, it's not good enough. F, you know?
And that F, like you failing also translate, not only like that you don't have any scope to create beyond what you're being asked to create, but also the fail isn't a like positive thing that you can learn from. It's just you failed.
Yeah.
Like that's
and how I used to look at that, you know, that F. Now I'm older and gone through so many different shit that it's like, it's good to fail.
Yeah.
Fail.
Word.
And I know you watch Gary Vee and all those guys. So I'm just like, I watch a lot of his shit, a lot of other people.
Yeah.
In the mornings, pretty much I don't really watch bullshit. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I don't know what's really going on. All I am ingesting is like, how can I be a better person? How can I be better at my business?
Yeah.
How can I understand culture, people? But yeah, it's kind of brought me to where I'm at now. And I know that I do have respect, but sometimes I was waiting for people to say it, you know, and I realize we're all different type of, we all communicate very differently. Yeah. You know?
And I think it's interesting because I think, like, I always found that I think we've spoken like briefly about these things before and about the kind of wanting like being underrated, let's say. And I feel like it's interesting because I think my whole career, I haven't seen you like that. So it's really interesting to hear you talk about that, because it's like, whenever I feel the same things, or I feel in a way like I'm speaking for myself, but I know I'm not the only one that would feel like this. But I think where maybe I might see you in the same way that you would have seen other people. Yeah. And like I've spoken about you to other people before, where it's like I feel like, and this part's personal to me, but like where I feel like you're one of the people that I'm always like looking for acceptance from and stuff like that. And like stuff like cross-platform, and because it's like that kind of thing that I like doing, I'm kind of like, oh, when this is happening, or when I work with this person or that type of thing, it will make me feel like accepted, I guess.
And so and I realize some people are just waiting for their moment so they can put you on. You know, and also the internet, man. Just like, it's not real life. you know. So I know a lot of people like are thinking when they maybe go on my social media, like, oh, Ivan's this type of person. It's a version of me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And it also, in a way, it's a good thing. It's always a good thing to hear the like vulnerable side of people, which is why we're doing this. But it also makes me feel like, oh, there might be people that look at me like that, that are like, oh, I wish I was doing, you know, I hear people say it sometimes. They're like, oh, I wish I was doing the stuff that you're doing. And I'm like, I'm not doing shit. Like I'm way behind. And then I'm looking at you thinking, I wish I was doing what Ivan was doing. And you're thinking, oh, I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. So we're all kind of looking at each other, unintentionally making each other feel not enough, but then being made to feel the same by other people. And it's like, you kind of have to at some point break that cycle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I think also why I find it interesting with you is that I wouldn't say this if it wasn't true, but like, I don't think I've spoken to anyone that doesn't think you're that guy, if you know what I mean? Like a lot of people see you, and I don't know, because obviously when I started, I was very young.
Yeah.
So I wasn't as connected to the scene as I am now. So you probably were in a different position then. So I can't speak for before. But now I definitely think that you have a lot of, you know, like you said, like a lot of respect and stuff like that. I wonder what would be people communicating it to you, the respect? Is it more through like their artistic cosign, or is it just literally like coming up to you and being like, yo, you're dope, and like kind of expressing their real feelings? Or what is it that you think that you would like more of from people, I guess?
That's a good question. I think it's like, pardon, I've got the burps today, like
No
I've been
stress.
drinking maybe too much coffee. That's a good question. I think it's like showing more support.
What does support look like for someone like you? Because if I think of myself, I'm like, what can I do to support Ivan?
Yeah.
Like, I can't, I've got
I
nothing.
think it's like, that's a really good question. That's amazing. And it's making me like, I think like, if I think about cross-platform or like some of the stuff I used to do, I felt that, where are you?
Okay.
I would look at cross-platform like, where is my scene?
Right.
You know? And I would see like a whole bunch of other people from different communities coming to cross-platform, but I didn't see the dance scene there.
Interesting.
You know, and I would consciously program certain dancers that I felt from different parts of who are a bit more commercial or a bit more underground, to hopefully bring them in and get them to see these artists too, and hopefully be inspired. But it's just like, I would sometimes look around. It's like, okay, where are you? And yes, there were dancers at the event. I'm not going to take that away, but
not in the same
when
way.
you just don't gas me. Yeah, cross-platform sick. Or like, I'm coming. And then I'm like, where are you? Because even for me, I try to be as visible as possible everywhere. So even in the underground scene, I'm going to events. I don't battle anymore, but like, I'm trying to be there. I'm trying to still go to like Maryland if I have time. That my schedule's a bit mad now, but like, I was always trying to hit events or go to theatre shows if I can, again, schedule. But I'm pretty much there. Commercial scene, you know, but I never really saw that back. And I would go to certain people's thing and I wouldn't see it, or I would put people on to jobs that I was doing either if it was commercial or theatre, and people didn't say thank you. I was like, I just booked you on Beyonce and you didn't say thank you. You know, and even if you have your own things, like I didn't, you know, like how the production company dealt with me, or I'm not a fan of Beyonce, whatever, but like, I thought of you, you know, and you didn't have to audition. And that's just one job. There's other jobs or hip hop theatre stuff. And I'm just like, thank you, because I maybe help you pay your rent or, you know, buy that sneaker or whatever, you know. So it was just like a thank you. Or like, you know, and I need to, everything I'm saying, and I'm trying to, practice what I preach, you know, because I know I don't do it enough, you know, but I'm trying to possibly set up things or get people paid right to show my appreciation. But I'm learning that I need to be a better communicator, and that's the aim. I want to be a master communicator, you know, and also a master listener, you know, because sometimes we want to say, people are not supporting me, people are not but sometimes we just have to listen, you know, because actually, they don't communicate in that way, or they are asking or wanting this if you just listen. Yeah,
and I think there's also, I mean, I think that we a lot of times like think of the scene as like a place where we're all kind of the same like type of people. And it's like, I've had this argument with so many people of like, even stupid stuff like training at Trocadero when it was there. And I was like, just because we all dance doesn't mean I like everyone, you know? And just because we all dance and we all have the same interests doesn't mean you're all nice people. Like I might meet 20 dancers that are nice, really nice people, but it doesn't mean all dancers are. So I think maybe it's also like a thing of like I kind of get why when people talk about the scene being like cliquey or everybody has it, and I'm like, yeah, of course they do, because that's life. Everyone wants to hang out with their friends, and also
we're all tribal, no?
And I'm not gonna reach out to random people just on the basis of that you're a dancer. Like if we're friends and we've developed a connection and I've seen you to be a nice person, cool. But I think maybe that's the thing as well, is like, you know, the scene as a whole may not be grateful or communicative, because people aren't grateful and communicative, I think, in general. And it's hard to be the nice person in a world where everybody's not so nice. I think of it like, you know, if we take away the dancer side of it and you were just going and offering jobs to random people in the street or offering money to random people, like, you might get a percentage that are really grateful and you might get a percentage that are assholes about it and like, cool, you know, like, so I think that's the tough thing as well.
I've sometimes get reminded that it still has a ripple effect. So you can't always expect people to say thank you and because as you said, everyone's very different, you know, and they might show that gratitude in a different way. Ivan put me onto that job, you know, and sometimes that help is unseen, that gratitude is unseen. So I'm being reminded that through some of my friends. It's like, just keep doing what you're doing,
100%.
You know, because it's the more I serve myself first and make sure I'm eating and looking after myself, I know the type of person I am, it's going to have a ripple effect, you know?
100%.
But yeah.
And I think also, something maybe worth mentioning from my perspective is like with the thing of, on the topic of you being underrated or that type of, however we want to call it, I think also there's a thing where it is an ego thing, but I've had to really, I know that this exists because I've had to put it to the side a lot of times, because my initial feeling, there's people that I'm sure I put this on Instagram before, but there's people that I look at that make me feel like I'm not good when I look at their work. And it does, you know, not in a bad way, but it makes me feel like, oh, I want to be like them, or I want to do this and I want their acceptance. And it's like, I would put people like you in that category. Isaac
Brent?
Yeah. Naomi with her photography and stuff, like there's a few people in that category, maybe like 10 or so that I just, there's other people that are good, that are way better than me, but there's certain people, and I'm not 100% sure why, but they just make me feel like, fuck, I want them to like my stuff. And I want to be like them and stuff like that. And I think what I made, I'm not sure if I messaged you about this or spoke to you, but I'm doing it now if not. But I had to like kind of put my ego to the side and just make sure I say this, and this is kind of why I'm bringing it up now, is like to say this to these people, because what my instinct is to almost push them away and to be like, I'm going to show you how dope I am. And like when I get sick, and like even with my, which is a good thing, and I think it's great to use, it's inspiration isn't only, oh, you've done great work. It's like inspiration, like you're sick, I want to be as good as you. And it's that competitive hip hop kind of thing of like, when I'm good, you're going to recognize it. And I do want that. I do want to one day, like, I don't know, make a video and Isaac hits me up and is like, your editing is sick. Or, you know, or like do a performance and you come and find me in the crowd and you're like, bro, that was the best shit you've ever done. But also I think it's not like, I need to make a conscious effort to be like, yes, I can do that and use it to push myself, but also like just tell those people as well. It's fine, you know, and it's like recognizing that you might not be in my head, I'm building up this picture of like, Ivan's like, I'm the dopest. I'm doing all this cool stuff. Like, fuck Luke, I don't care about him. Like, you're probably not like that. And if I tell you, like, you're an inspiration or whatever, you're probably actually going to appreciate it. Whereas I think the instinct is to go, is to think that you're going to be like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah. You're like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think it's the pedestal thing. And especially social media has fucked us up again. Yeah. So we're looking at people and we're like, wow, this is sick, but we don't know that process.
Yeah, for sure.
How do they put that together? And sometimes I look at other artists and I get caught into that trap and be like, oh man, this is dope and and I forget, the journey I'm going on, and or what I've achieved. And sometimes I'm looking so far ahead. Sometimes I'm this futurist, like trying to clock things before other people clock, and but I miss what's happening now. So I miss moments.
Right.
Like in moments when I engage with people, or moments where people have said, you are good. Because I'm like, I'm not maybe thinking it's not enough, but I'm not ingesting that. I'm waiting for that thing.
You're
and maybe
I'm moving on.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and I think also it's that's the thing where it's like, it may be that the more successful you get, the less people, because when you're like good, but you're around your friends and you like, they might be like, oh,
it gets more polarized as well.
True. And I guess also, the polarization is what we want from art. We want people to love or hate your work. But then also, there might be a thing of the more successful you get, the more we want to like quietly impress you, and we don't want to come up and tell you, because then also what happened, what I felt with stuff like this, and it's even like right now, let's say the conversational dynamic changes where as soon as I say all the stuff that I've said today, I look up to you and you were an inspiration from when I started, it puts you above me in the conversational dynamic. You're someone that for the purpose of this conversation, I'm looking up to.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And it's fine, and it doesn't affect my self-worth in that way. I don't think you're more valuable as a human than me. I just, artistically, you're someone that came before me and does bigger and better things than I'm doing. But I think a lot of people don't quite make that connection. Yeah. So they feel the dynamic changing where they're like, oh, I'm putting Ivan above me. I don't like this feeling. No, I'm also good. Yeah. And then they kind of maybe shut it down so that they don't feel less than you. You know what I mean?
It's that inner work, man. Like, even like, you doing this podcast, it's like, damn, man, Ivan, man, get this podcasting, blood. I think it's a funny one. Yeah. It's just like, we need to, I think, set up things where where dancers especially can communicate more. Because I think we've lost how to communicate. And I feel some of the dancers who I've spoken to in their journey, they felt like they never had a voice. At times I never felt like I had a voice. So I would put it into my art, or I would put it into my body, and then I forgot how to speak. I forgot how to do that normal, natural thing of, asking for help, and because with me, I do this, I started doing this thing called Mentorship Mondays on my Instagram, and basically it's just free advice. I want to help people get to the position where I'm at now. Obviously I do a bit of mentorship through Breaking Convention and a few other things, and I put a post like maybe 5-6 years ago on my Facebook, and I said to people, I know my schedule is quite busy, but like if you ever need advice, because I know how important mentorship is, and
I think I know. I think isn't that I feel like I taught for Bird because of that. Like I asked you about doing something, and I I wanted to do more. Yeah, hip-hop. I repost it usually every year. I don't think I reposted this year. I was like, people don't listen. I kind of had a little moment. Maybe it was that period. I was like, people don't care. Yeah. But like, I'm sure I remember you posting that. Yeah.
We need to use other forms of communication. To understand people. Especially with dancers, because like we understand it through sometimes battling or through other things, but like I've always said, come ask me how I done cross platform, I'll tell you. Ask me how I done this video, or got to this position, I will tell you.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, what they don't realize or understand is the process. We'll have different processes, you know. I go through tons of procrastination, tons of it, you know, and I go through tons of feeling that I'm not good enough or, you know, putting out the work, and I'm just like, press send. But also, I've realized the way I've got to where I'm at is through a team. I didn't do it all myself. Yes, people can see me and it's like, oh, Ivan's doing it independently, But I had Lee from Artist for Artists, Georgina Harper, my producer, and, you know, I still speak to John Z for help, Simeon. I still speak to my friends, you know. So, yeah, and that's me speaking to them, building a network, not just outside in a sense of business, but also building a network of collaborators in a different way. You know, I have certain people who are kind of helping me through my mental health, or through my physical health, and like I speak to them, so what do I eat, or like how do I, you know, not feeling like, I don't know, I've got a headache, how do I, you know, clear it? Oh yeah, do a bit of this and do a bit of that. What where it was going.
So you're saying about like having the communication between people and like
like, you know, and also like learning to give and not expecting to receive anything back. I think that's where I've been at for a while. And
I think also what's important is building real relationships. I think I have a lot of people, I feel like everybody has this, but there's a lot of people in the scene who I know well enough to not call them a stranger, but you're not my friend. Like, you're a colleague in essence. Like, we're colleagues. We work in the same industry. We know each other enough to stop and chat, and I know, you know, who your group of friends are, and I know where you hang out and stuff, but you're not my friend. We wouldn't, like, you know, hang out, or you don't know much about me. And I think it's like, that's fine, but I think it's not confusing colleagues with friends and then expecting a friend response from a colleague, you know what I mean? And it's like your colleague's gonna like get you a birthday card, but they're not gonna show up at your house and make you a cake or some shit. So I think it's like that. I find it hard to sometimes distinguish that and kind of be like, oh, why this person never fucking shares my stuff, or this person, and it's like, yeah, but they're not my friend. So I get it. And then my this is my way of coping at the moment, is like, I'm trying to turn my colleagues into my fans. My friends are my friends, but I want my colleagues to be like, because they're my colleagues and they're just other dancers, I'm like, you don't owe me shit. You don't have to like my work, but I'm going to get good enough that you are going to love my work, even if you don't know me.
And I think like, I'll say this sometimes when I'm in meetings talking spiel, but it's just like, we need to start looking at those people that are doing that, right? Are reposting your stuff, or like writing a comment, like say thank you. Thank you for sending.
It works both ways,
you know, and building that fan base. You know, I think dancers don't do that. You know, where I do look at, in a lot of my stuff, I take structures or kind of methodologies from music artists.
Sick,
because they've managed to set up independent labels. They managed to be independent artists. They managed to put their story, their narrative into multiple mediums. They know how to hold on to fans.
And it's a very similar industry, but just way bigger and better built.
Like, you know, I know tons of dancers that, you know, they'll go viral, or like bare people sharing their thing, and they haven't said like a known comment in another message like thank you, or on their story, or they don't press like or reply to the comments. And like, those are your fans, man. Like, you ain't gonna hold on to them if you don't.
And if you think about music artists, like how much time they spend interacting with fans for that reason alone, like all the signing autographs, meet and greets, like all the, when they show up before and after shows to meet the fans, is not for them.
And we cringe at that sometimes, you know, like, oh, we see that dance from stage, or they come down to the circle or whatever, interacting, like, why are you here? Like, oh, look at these people trying to interact with us, but we've put them on a pedestal. We've kind of put this barrier between us and them, where even in concerts, you know, they'll come out, hello London, how are you today? I love your glasses. Here we're just like boom boom boom, we're sick, right? Everyone scream, and then I'm out, or I'm coming in and then just trying to act all cool. That's dead.
And I think it's Yeah, that's a really good point that you said. Like, we expect like these shares and stuff like that. How often are we thanking people? Like, it's all good for us to think, oh, I want to share. Like, for me to like want to share your work, or something like that, because to show I appreciate it. But then it's like us showing that we appreciate the appreciation as well.
For sure. And I feel like certain dancers like, oh, I've done this now, I can't be in this certain circle. I'm still like dancing on the street. You know, I'll go link up with Kofi or whoever or Rain Crew, and we're at like Olympic Park just jamming on the street. You know, even though I've, you know, had certain successes in my life, I'm still trying to be everywhere, still trying to go Maryland, still trying to hit certain places where certain dancers like, well, I need to try and get people to see me in this sort of light and do this, but you're actually pushing people away, not actually inviting them more into your world, you know? Yeah,
there's definitely something to be said about being present as a person, as a human, and not just doing everything online. Like, I keep thinking that about myself as well. Like, I think I don't quite know how and why it works, but like leaving the house, just the act of leaving the house tends to get me more work than than staying at home. Even if I'm like spend a day on social media, like writing emails, doing this, like just going out, it's like I'll have people that I meet and I speak to, and just a normal catch up. Oh, hey, how's things? And they're like, oh, I've been meaning to get a photographer. I'm like, you fucking follow me on Insta. You know I do photography, but why do you want to hire me now? Because I met you. But there's something about the human interaction that you can post all your best work, but when you meet someone, they're like, oh yeah, I do like you as a person. Like, I want to work with you.
Exactly. Or just being in different spaces, you know. I used to hot desk a lot. Like I would go to Sadler's Wells and start to like link up with them and just having general conversations, or like, oh, we're gonna go to this pub around the corner, you want to join? And you know, or I used to like do some work at like Ace Hotel. I'll just bring my laptop and just I'm meeting so much dope people. You know, again, it's this Neverland thing, you know. And I don't know, I'm at a point where, especially with my dancing, I'm trying to be in Neverland with my creativity, with my art, with my dancing. In business and all of that stuff, no. In reality, no. You know,
be present, be in the room.
Be present, be in the room. You know, like get out, be fresh, not just be in your room waiting for your agent to call you, or like I don't know. Like for me, interacting with people and being in different spaces feeds my creativity. It feeds my mind. You know,
it's a different type of inspiration when you.
I speak to some dancers and like, all their people are just the same people, you know, and it's just like, it's like you're stuck in a village, you know, and you haven't like gone into the city, and that's it exactly is. And especially even with COVID now, people are even more not like stepping out and interacting with people. But yeah, I find it really important. But yeah, actually, I'm going to segue into something.
Go on.
But with just of recent, I wasn't even going to tell that much people. I don't know why. I think it was more like, why wasn't I going to tell people? Maybe because I was scared for people to abuse it. But basically, I've acquired a studio space.
Okay, I think I saw something.
Yeah, I just posted something recently about it. But it's in Leighton, and it's not necessarily going to be a dance studio and everyone's going to come here and jam. Basically, I wanted to create like a creative hub. Ideally, originally it was for myself, somewhere I can go, my sanctuary and my Neverland. I can create however and do whatever I want. And it was also inspired by, again, other artists who I would connect with. So I would go down to like, I don't know, to the Netherlands and connect with like Lucinda, Chi and all of these other people, and I was like, wow, they have their own space to just do, you know. Or I connect with my artistic friends, Karima Hassan or Isaac Brand and other people, like, wow, they have their own studio. Why ain't dancers really thinking of getting a small room, space, you know? But over time I said, okay, what I need to do, especially more for 21, is bring back the idea of somewhat the youth center or the creative space where people can come, you know. Basically, it's kind of like 3 floors, still very small space. It's in an old kind of factory.
Sick.
And there's other artists within this in different units. But my room has 3 floors. The ground floor will be like a mini dance studio.
Sick.
As well as a space for painters to create bigger works, or other people to kind of have conversations, yada yada yada. I'm looking to get podcast equipment, so people can start podcasting, because I know other people want to have talk about their work, their process, and just
even
have
as
other
like
conversations
one-offs for like projects and stuff. It's nice to have that.
I'm looking to acquire some printing equipment, so if people want to do merch, or like print on, I don't know, a massive piece of paper, put up on Brick Lane. And then there's also like a little chill out space, so
it's like a hub for everything.
Yeah, it will likely to be on a membership basis, because I don't want people to come and just be smoking zoots and just not doing nothing. This space is a hit factory. You come here, you create something dope, and you push it out to the community. And also basically what I'm doing is looking to create a creative incubation program, which will at this current stage will be a year.
Okay.
Starting from next year, and through that it will filter through to this new job I've acquired again.
Okay.
There's been a lot of new stuff in the past 12 months, but at this current stage I'm artist director of 180 Studios.
Okay.
And
what is that?
Basically it's the spaces at 180 The Strand.
Okay.
So 180 The Strand is a building that kind of people have walked past. It's near Somerset House. It's across the road, or across the water, shall I say, from Somerset House. It's a massive brutalist building.
Right.
But Dazed magazine is based there. Virgil Abloh is based there. Samuel Ross from A Cold War. They usually have London Fashion Week. They've programmed people like Anthony Gormley, Khalil Joseph, some amazing people. But I'm running the spaces there, and looking at the curation and bringing new life into the building and diverse voices into the space. But
what sort of stuff, like exhibitions and
everything, dance, art.
So it could be
fashion,
an event,
film.
a show.
Yeah. So we've got our next. Well, I only just started like a month ago, but the next exhibitions will be Rioja Akida, which is this kind of light installation in multiple rooms, and Khalil Joseph, who directed the Flying Lotus video with Storyboard P.
Okay.
He's got like an artistic piece, visual piece that it's gonna be like in one of the spaces, and it's kind of like a exhibition experience thing.
So your space you would use as like for people to create stuff that could be shown.
Yeah, so it starts off as an incubation at the studio, and through my production company,
When you say incubation, like kind of like a residency kind of
it's
thing?
kind of like a program where it's maybe I might look at possibly 10 cultural leaders. It's about building new cultural leaders, building more people like myself that want to affect the community. And push out a unique voice. So it kind of built from cross-platform, and some of the things I've done through that.
Yeah.
But it will filter through to working with Dazed. So Dazed is building a new thing called Dazed Office. It might change the name, but it's through Dazed, and the idea that you'll be able to make new connections. So you might be able to get featured in Dazed. Dazed might hire you for work. Days is building a new space, kind of like a co-working space at the 180 Strand. So you might be sitting next to the editor of fashion.
Yeah, it's like what we were saying about being in the room with someone.
And sitting at certain tables. Literally sitting at tables, being able to maybe get certain guidance from that sort of world, and able to try and get your message to a wider populace of people.
Sick.
And then that will filter also, which I'll be running as well alongside with Dazed, because it's very complicated, my role, which I'll mostly jump in. But through that program, it will also filter through with Soho House.
Okay.
And Soho House has got a program called Soho Works, where they work with young creators that, again, want to push out something. And so it's kind of like a tier sort of basis. And then, you might be able to get your film on the Tribeca Film Festival, or,
Sick.
Work with someone like John Boyega and stuff like that. So it's only recently that my career has jumped all the way up here,
huge.
and it's crazy because I'm sitting and talking to the owner of Days now, of like, okay, so how do I, help them get more diverse voices, or speaking to Soho House and looking about programming their events, So and I want people to be in my position. It's not just me like, I'm not going to keep it sealed. And it's about me. And I think that's what it was. It's part of it is as my people to show that respect is show me. Look, I'm trying to show you templates for stuff like cross-platform. Why isn't like 10 other cross-platforms? It's coming up to 5 years this year. Where's the rest of them? That frustrates me. I kind of, I don't know, I don't pump out work, but I really think and, kind of go through this process of trying to build something and put it out there. I want people to do their own thing in their own way, but I'm trying to put out templates, even with Trap Lord, with a Harlem Dream, my career choices and certain things, or people who I've connected with. And I'm also saying, hey, drop me a message. Come talk to me. Drop me a thing on Insta, but I'm seeing on my stories, because you can see who's looking at it and how many people. I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of people clocking this, but no one's not saying, hey, how do I do it? There's a few people. And actually, it's usually the same people that's, when I'm replying, it's them who's writing every week, like, okay, I've done this, or like, how do I do that? But that's part of me when I get frustrated. And to be honest, each to their own, everyone has their own process and all of that stuff, but everyone's kind of trying to be like, man, can do it myself. I'm trying to be independent. Ask for help. There is help out there. That's one thing I realized when I started being a victim. 'Cause I was a victim for a very long time. I've been through many different things, and I've got to a point where I can openly say it. I've been through, physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, and I've been in this victim mentality, trying to be in a place of survival with my dancing and like, I'm not getting booked. I'm not doing this. There's no funding. There's funding.
Right.
If you look, there's funding in so many different places.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I've asked for people. I've kind of, maybe it might have taken me a month to find funding, but there's funding there, you know? So it's like,
I was, it's funny you say that. Like, I was recently in a meeting with someone about doing a project, and we were talking about funding, and it was a younger creative, but like the idea that we could get paid to put on a project, he was like, wait, because we were talking about how we would pay the dancers, how we would pay this, like we could pay for the studio, this and this. And I was like, and we'd probably put this much fee for ourselves. And he was like, oh, we could get paid too. And it's like, this is how it should, that's the, like us getting paid to create is the bare minimum. Like we shouldn't, accept this.
And get out of like the finance trap. Because that's the thing that was fucking me up for a long time. I was in this finance trap of like, I need money to, you know, or like I know people have been putting their own money in for years. I haven't been putting my own money for years. There's money there. There's Arts Council there. If you don't know how to write an application, get someone else to write it for you. You know, if you have no money to pay someone, get a job. You know, like there's certain dancers like, man's not getting a normal job. Again, stop being in Neverland. Some people are in Neverland and they're struggling through COVID. And, you know, yes, I know it's even harder now to get work. But like, if sometimes what I do, if I don't know something, I just Google. Even though it will take your data and all your information and your algorithms. But Google, YouTube, ask.
But it's I think it's the pride and the ego coming above the resourcefulness. It's like, I think some people know where they want to go and they will do anything to get there, no matter how they look in the process. They're like, it doesn't matter, I'm going where I need to go. Even if it's like I'm on the street selling my trainers to anyone that walks by. I know I'm doing that for a reason and that's fine. Whereas I think some people they don't want to sacrifice their image or their pride and stuff in the now. Even if it, like, they'd rather have that image in the now than aim towards somewhere.
And it's the long road, you know. Like I remember, like when I came back from the States, age 23, because like, you know, my journey, I've kind of said it on time ago with Jan's soundcheck, but like I've been about
Yeah.
in many different groups and
Yeah.
and then at one point in my career I decided to go to the States because I was like, there's no jobs over here.
Right.
They're not booking the skinny black guy. They want the buff, blah,
Yeah.
sell sex product,
Yeah.
you know, the alpha black male.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really booking jobs, so I decided to go to the States. Realized I didn't really fuck with the States and, you know, how they were moving. So I said, I will come back here and build something here. I was like, I need to break my home. I need to be able to land here, you know, before I go over there and do what I need to do. And I said, I'll give myself 10 years, you know. And now I've landed.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but it might take 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, so some people will be like, okay, I want to, I don't know, choreograph for this person. I want to have a hip hop theater production. I want to do this. It might take 10 years.
Yeah. Word.
You know, and you need to be able to go on that ride. And I think, again, because everything's becoming more accessible, a lot more easier in certain things. A lot of people just want it quicker.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, now you have to go the scenic route.
And big projects take time.
Because it's actually more fun.
Yeah.
You know, if you just like blink your eyes and you're there, then that's a bit boring. And plus you haven't built foundations, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you haven't built any foundations. So like when you get there, you know, you'll be like, oh shit, I don't know how to even really do this. Because you don't haven't under little bits.
Yeah, 50% of the learning is in the process, and that's what, you know, what we were saying right at the beginning, like all the failures and stuff build up to who you are. So the reason you can do all this stuff well, it's like if someone, I would love to, I don't know, fucking loads of stuff, but let's say choreograph a music video for someone big and do all the like filming it. But it's like if you right now gave me the top level cameras and editing, I wouldn't know what to do. So it's like, actually, as much as I want those jobs now, I don't want those jobs now. I want to get those jobs when I deserve them, because I need to do all the learning and all the steps to get to that point.
And the pressure.
Yeah.
Doing the Black is King project, pressure.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So yeah.
What was your actual role on that?
I was a choreographer.
Okay.
For Brown Skin Girl.
Yeah.
And there was another song, the Kendrick Lamar, Nile, but she re-recorded that moment.
Okay.
Which we never had time to jump on that, but so she recorded it. It was during COVID anyway.
Yeah.
And also I was casting director, additional casting director for that.
For the Brown Skin Girl.
Brown Skin Girl, yeah. So the way that all that kind of came about, I've been working with a director called Jen Nakuru for a few years, and talking about free work. I've done tons of work that's just been like in-kind support of heavily discounted. If I believe in someone's vision, you know, or if it's my homie or whatever, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I've hollered at certain people. They're like, yeah, I've got this thing. Yeah, how much is it? That is like kind of straight off the bat is like, nah, it doesn't work like that all the time. You know, you can't just be like money. And that's, again, some people haven't locked in the money situation, or, you know, just got a normal job or found other income streams to sort their shit out. But basically, I've been working with her for a few years. The first project was working on with the Tate. And that was literally a call and said, there's a job in 2 days' time. Can you do it?
Yeah.
I was like, and that was through a friend who's a stylist called PC Williams. And I was like, yeah, it sounds great. And like, and then obviously you do that business. So how much is it? There's nothing in it. What? And and plus we're starting shooting at 11 p.m.
What was the job that you were gonna do?
Choreography. Right. Yeah. The shoot starts at 11 p.m. and goes in all the way in the morning, you know, because we need everyone out of the building, set up, I was like, But then, like, I met up with Jen and like, she's people.
Did you know her at this time?
No, I didn't know her at all. I was like, she's people's, you know? And then I said, yeah, boom, I'm feeling her vibe, I'll do it, you know? And at that time, I've done jobs. Like, I've booked stuff and I've, you know, I could have easily said, nah, I'm all right. But I was like, nah, I'm feeling her. She's cool. And then I remember coming up on set and I was like, wow, like majority of the team are women. Majority of all of the team except the cinematographer and the gaffer were people of color.
Right, nice.
I was like, whoa, I've never been on a job like this.
Is that Jen's influence?
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting. You know, this is a complete new experience. And then, yeah, we knocked it out. You know, obviously everything I do, I try to give my all. And then she was like, yeah, I would love to keep this relationship. She gave me a call and said, I've got a thing that I'm trying to put together for Nowness. Can you meet up with me? And I was like, yeah, what time? It was like something ridiculous, like 2:00 in the morning or something at Ace Hotel. I'm like, what? But I was like, you know what? She's people's. And again, we just vibe. We kind of knew the same kind of circle. And we stayed there until like 4 a.m. And she kind of went through this thing. And it was her film Rebirth is Necessary.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this is fucking amazing. You know, and obviously I did that. We shot, it was over 3 days. We shot in Brixton. We shot the headquarters of the Nation of Islam. And it was just a beautiful shoot. All sorts of diverse people from the LGBTQ community, Muslims, Christians. I managed to bring certain dancers involved. I had Jade Hackett assisting me on that.
Sick.
And then, yeah, I just started getting more calls from her.
Nice.
And all the jobs I've pretty much done, pretty much near close to Beyonce, was like under my rate, you know? But I didn't really care. It was just like, wow, there's a different value exchange, you know? Yeah. And yeah, from Rebirth's Necessary, that blew up for her. It was literally, it went global. And then everyone was asking her to do gigs. So we did the Kamasi Washington, Heaven and Earth album, kind of special release. So we shot 3 different things on that. Again, that went really well. We shot with Nena Cherry, and then I didn't hear anything from her for a while. I was like, and then her career was going,
yeah. And
then she worked with Jay-Z and Beyonce's The Carters. But she worked with Sidi Larbi, the contemporary choreographer at the time. And I was like, Jen, where was the call?
Yeah.
You know? And I was just like, all right, cool. And then I saw her
Little did
do
you know
another
it was
gig.
coming.
And I was like, Jen, yeah. And then actually that day, I decided to go to Ace Hotel. I was like, I'm not going to work from home. Obviously, I had no studio space at this time. I was like, I need just to get out the house, just knock out some emails and clear my head. And I got a call from Jen. She was like, oh, yeah, I know you got, cross-platform coming up. But like there's a job that came through. I'm not too sure if you're interested. I was like, oh yeah, who's it for? Beyonce.
I think I could make some time.
Yeah, and literally my eyes started.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, because actually, again at that time, like you know, I was starting to just thinking about money and how I'm gonna. But I had no money.
Yeah.
In my account, there was not really that much opportunity other than me just like, okay, I cross platforms. The next thing I just need to land this, and then I was like, wow. All that time where I was like, yeah, I want to work with the biggest artists in the world. You know, I want to, you know, I just really want to land. I feel like I've been on this commercial thing for a while. And then, yes, I'm not like some of the dope other heads that are creating amazing, like just booking jobs and like commercial, because I'm trying to stretch myself everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like I've paid my dues in many respects, you know, and I just wanted
like,
an artist to feel like, yeah, you know, and yeah, that came through. And then, you know, I managed to hold out Robia and Sheila, who assisted me on that. So big up them because they helped me. They came to my house, choreographed numbers and all sorts of. It was literally my backbone for that. And then I've obviously hired a lot of people that people recognize in the video. But yeah, now that's just for me a stepping stone. Like a lot of people are like, raw, like, you know, who's next? Like, I don't know, I was like, no, I'm trying to build my stuff. You know, that's another thing where pretty much, as I said, like 5 years ago, I needed to change the kind of thing, how can I say, the perception of how I saw myself.
Right.
And, you know, it was thinking more of I'm an artist, you know, or like I'm a creative. If I have an idea in my head and I want to make it, like do it, you know, because I know tons of sick dancers who paint, who take photography, make music. But one thing that baffles my clot is why haven't you taken a picture of yourself and put it on a t-shirt, put it on Depop, Etsy, whatever, and try and find a way to, you know, find passive income through that, you know, or like make your own music instead of choreographing to Pop Smoke, you know, because people are gonna be like, oh, you're that person that danced to Pop Smoke or danced to Drake or danced to Future, and you know, just like, I think make it more holistic.
The difference between, I'm not saying one's right or wrong, but it's the difference between seeing yourself as someone who, I guess, services an artist or enhances an artist's performance, or if you are another artist like them. So I guess for you, it's like, okay, yeah, you're working for Beyonce, but you're trying to be Beyonce also,
exactly.
as opposed to like,
exactly that.
Who's the next person I can work for? You're like, okay, well, I want to get to the stage where Beyonce wants to work with me, or you know, something. And
that
like
was the thing. It was just like, stop relying on agents, stop relying on this person or that person to, you know, like go through the shit, you know, like jump in it, because there's a lot of fruits. And also I put this on my Mentorship Mondays thing, is we are all kind of how can I say, we all have seeds to plant, and it depends what you want to grow. You can grow a little baby flower, but you can grow a tree that's going to feed a whole community. You planting that seed, you have to really look after it, you know, and it's going to take time. To grow a tree takes years to fully mature, and for people to eat from it. So like, I'm trying to grow trees. And I remember doing an exercise, I think it was with Kate Scanlon, and when she was working with Birdgang for a little bit, and she said like, draw your future, you know, or like how you see yourself affecting the community. I remember just drawing trees everywhere. You know,
branches into different areas.
Thank you, Kate Scanlon, because she's was one of the people that first helped me. Like, you know, put my shit together and have a different type of thinking. But it takes time, and like, you know. But again, going back to that, I'm trying to be Beyonce. You know, like that's just a stepping stone. You know, and like, I'm not a prop.
Word.
You know, I'm not a prop, and you know,
it's the same as her like having someone come and feature on one of her songs. It's like, okay, I'm collaborating with another artist. It might be Beyonce's album, but it's featuring Drake, for example. But Drake's an artist in his own right. This was just Beyonce featuring Ivan, and you're your own artist in your way, not just there for
and
her.
Like, I'm gonna drop some stuff, because I think there's many different things of how people can, you know, work with artists or interesting ways. I think if you're gonna dance to, I don't know, just trying to think of a UK artist, Heady One. Like, holler at him. Drop a message and like, yo, I want to choreograph. If he doesn't reply, put like a commissioning video or a treatment together, throw it over. You know, or you could do like a thing where how ghostwriters in music, you know, they'll write a song and be like, hey, do you want to buy this song? Do you want to work on this song? Do you want to work with me? Do you want to collaborate? Shoot a video, a concept video, an actual, right, looks like an actual video, and be like, hey, I want to, work on your next music, choreograph your next video, or direct your next video. If they're like, nah, push it out anyway, then you might have had a possible, you know, new collaboration and new connection. If not, you've made content.
And I think it's the difference between approaching someone as a professional and as someone who is a director and a choreographer, as opposed to like, oh, I'm just someone on Insta who makes cool videos. Because realistically, I don't want someone choreographing my music video who's just someone on Insta. I want a choreographer.
Exactly. So how are you putting yourself, and what people are doing, they're doing the Heady One video and then tagging and expecting, you know, please share, reshare. And
at most, what do you get? You get a reshare, you get a like, you get a comment with a fire emoji. That's not the ultimate goal.
Or it's like, it blows up, it goes viral, and then they might share it. Or they'll press, like. Oh yeah, Heady One.
He liked my thing, but
like,
what does it get?
Use it as like how music video directors makes treatments. They got tons of treatments. That's, you know, I was speaking to Henry Schofield, who shot for Stormzy, and he's worked with Shay recently on most of what Shay's been doing, visual from Holland. But like, he does like a pitch a week, a pitch or two pitches a week, and just builds. It's like, okay, this feels like it fits for that. I'll just readjust. Like, we can do that, you know. Let's start writing pitches. Let's start like creating content, trying stuff, and, you know, building. If they don't want to, if they reshare it, boom, that's sick. If they want to work with you, that's even better. You know, if they don't want to do any of that stuff, then at least you've made content.
Yeah.
You're starting to build a language. You're starting to understand how to work with people, how to maybe level up and be a director.
And when it comes to actually having to write a pitch, you've done it. And
Exactly.
also, I think I read a book called Still Like an Artist. I don't know if it's
I remember the book, yeah.
In that, they were talking about, there was one guy who was a musician, and he said when he was growing up, he used to, it would take too long for his favorite band to release a new album.
Yeah.
So he would write songs on his guitar and sing them and whatever and record them. But he would write the songs that he wished his favorite band would release. It's like, oh, if I was in this band, here's what I would want them to release. And he said a lot of those songs became the top sellers when he made his own band. So it's like, it's this idea of stealing in air quotes, but like you're stealing things that didn't exist
Because I
yet.
know certain music producers, for instance, because I take a lot of structure of music, how music run their shit.
Yeah.
They'll do like Drake type beat.
Yeah.
Da type beat, and they'll push it out to them, and some of them okay there. But then there'll be other young bucks or SoundCloud rappers, and we've seen it with Lil Tecca or whoever just blow up, you know, from just be like, oh, this is sick. Let me just jump on this beat. Little Nas X, you know, for instance.
And there is a speaking of the book, but there is a way to steal like an artist. It's not just, you know, see something and be like, oh, that's what Ivan's doing. Cool. Something completely different. You can take from that. You can take from that, and put it all together and kind of create something new, actually.
Yeah. For me, I feel like the code is out there. You know, like if I want to know how to double my money or do stuff, I just
especially with the
Google,
internet.
YouTube, or I listen to Gary V, or I listen to whoever to be like, okay, that's how you do it. You know, listen to Brian Rhodes, London Real, get some information, and you know. But people are like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Just Google it.
There's a lot of ways
like,
to find information.
Ask. But yeah, I want, you know, dance creatives, dance artists to really rise, and you know, and I'll say this again, like, you know, I'm here. I might not be able to reply straight away, so don't get pissed, because everyone has, you know, their own life, schedule. But it might take a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months. But like, I'm here to help. You know.
Yeah. Would you say, like, addressing kind of what I said before? Do you ever? Would you look at not necessarily would you look at someone as like look down upon them or look lower than them, but let me phrase it this way. Do you ever give advice or find yourself offering good advice to people that you look up to, as opposed to people that you are like lower down in the food chain than you, let's say?
Say that again, rephrase that.
So for example, you know what I was saying earlier about how, you know, if someone comes to you for advice, what they have to do to come to you for advice is kind of admit, or the dynamic has to be there that they need you, or they're lower down in some sort of way, which is what I personally think stops a lot of people from coming, because they have that ego of like, oh, I shouldn't have to ask him for advice. I'm doing as good things as him. So do you ever find yourself in a position where you're offering advice to people who you see yourself as lower than?
Yeah.
Or like, or let's say they're doing things that you want to do, but you still have a valid advice.
I just have conversations, and I think that's what it is. People are looking to take. Okay, how can I ask Ivan to take?
Yeah, right.
Just have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to fuck you up, because people are looking at it. For instance, networking. I was speaking to someone about it the other day, and they were like, yeah, I don't know, I hate networking, because you're looking to take.
Right.
You're not looking for an exchange,
and
it's just having a conversation.
It's often seen as like, oh, how can I pretend to like this person? Or it's like, just have a real conversation. And
just have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, because again, that person might not be in a position to able to enable you, you know, but 3 years down the line, you don't know where they're going to be, you know? And that's how a lot of stuff has aligned for me, because I'm not trying to burn bridges. I'm trying to build bridges, so I can be like, ooh, I can walk over here, or we can walk together, and actually, let me show you what I'm doing over here, you know?
I think networking is one of the most misunderstood aspects in the creative world. Yeah. And like, I've had so many examples where things have come through, like, my friends won X Factor. I don't know if you know, like Mus and those guys.
Yeah.
So my friends,
a little superstar now.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know the boy band Raksu, they won X Factor. Yeah. I took some pictures with them when they literally just started their thing, doing the music. Literally just started, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I didn't even listen to their songs at this point, I don't think. But they were my friends, and they were like, "Oh, can we take some pictures for our thing?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, fuck it." Took some pictures like round the corner from my house. Took 15 minutes. I was still in my pajamas and slippers. I was just like, "Fuck it," like whatever. Just kept all the files, all the raw files.
Yeah.
I guess 2 years later, they won X Factor. Penguin Publishers emailed me and were like, "Do you still have the original files?
Oh, wow.
We'd like to purchase 4 of them." And it was like, I don't want to say how much money it was, but it was a lot. It was mad money for 4 pictures.
Yeah.
As in like 4 that I had already, I didn't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
I just had to find them on my computer. And it's like, that's one thing because they were my friends and I did it more for the friendship. But you never know, like you said, later what you're going to get from something that you do for free or go out of your way to do. But also, I've had situations where I got more out of a project than the person who proposed me the project. So they would come and say, "Oh, I want to shoot this video for free." It happened the other day, actually. It wasn't that they proposed me, but we were like doing a collaboration with someone and it's like, "Oh, yeah, I just want to shoot a video of me moving. I just need some more stuff." And, you know, the girl was going to take pictures of me as well, which is cool. And then the thing I shot for her, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm putting this on my Instagram. This is beautiful." And like, I learned some stuff and I figured out how I would shoot this type of thing and it gave me ideas. So actually from the like air quotes, like networking or just collaborating and doing stuff for free, even though what the girl wanted was just a simple video of her moving, I've gained more than she did from the thing that she asked me to do for her, you know? Exactly. So it's like, you never really know what you're going to get. And I think that's the kind of hidden key of networking is like, and like even what you said with Jen, it's like, when you went, you were noticing things. You were like, okay, the people that I hear, the women, the people of color, the projects that she's doing, the way she spoke, like you were like, I like this person. I don't know where this is going to go, but I like it. Whereas someone might be blind to that and just be like, I'm getting no money. What am I getting? Where is this going? Is it going to get lots of views? No, fuck it. I'm not.
Because they look at it as, I don't know, maybe for me, like they look at it as a business. You know, I look at it as friendships. Or not even friendships. That's the wrong word. Relationships.
Yeah, building real relationships.
You know, so you know, everyone has different degrees of how far they come into my, you know, circle.
Of course,
You know, so but I think with business, in a sense that we're saying with the whole colleagues things, they're automatically over there. You know, it's like, no, it's a relationship. So, you know, like even all the people I've kind of somewhat collaborated with or partnered with, and I mean, talking about like the Nikes and all of that stuff, I can pick up the phone, you know, like.
Because it's a real relationship.
When, you know, COVID was a bit more relaxed and I just chilled with the guy who hooked me up with Nike. Should I just go have a drink in Brixton? You know, instead of like, oh, I need to have something in business, It's just like, no, just like, let's get back onto this human level.
Like, Jen probably wouldn't have hollered at you if you had just shown up to that first job, done it for free, left, never spoke to her, and then been invoice. Like, here's my invoice. Exactly. It's like building real relationships is important, but you can't fake a real relationship. That's the hard thing. Is like, you can't just be like, oh, like, that person's really successful, I'm going to be their friend. I think this is where a lot of people try and do that, which it doesn't work because we feel that you're not real. And it's like, also, just because someone's successful, that's not necessarily the person you want to network with. It's not just because, oh, who's the most successful people? I've had some fucking dumb shit over the years. Like I've had people hit me up and be like, oh, what are you doing tonight? We're going out for this person's birthday. And I'm like, well, we don't hang with that person. And it's like, oh, but you know, they're the ones
going to be there.
That's the group that like get all the, when I was younger, it was like, fucking all the like Cisco and probably you as well. Like, it's probably like the people like to excess. It was like, when we were first coming in the car, it was like, oh, we're going out for blah, blah, blah's birthday. And I'm like, I don't know that fucking guy. Like, okay, he's a great dancer and blah, blah, but I don't know him. Like, so it's like, is this idea of just being around certain circles to try and get stuff. And it's like, actually, that, yes, you may get like, oh, I'll get hired for a job. But I think for me, when you collaborate with someone or network or build with someone who's on your same level, that's maybe the same with Jen, where it's like, okay, you're both equal creatives and you're both not working with like mad budgets or whatever. But then she blew and she brought you know, and then now you're going to do that with other people.
What are you bringing to the table? Because I feel like some people are like, yeah, Ivan, I want to work with you.
Right.
So, okay, I've got bare food, yeah?
Yeah.
I've been like, harvesting for years. I can feed you and not a whole army. What are you bringing?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So
now it's not, I want to work with you. It's, I want some of what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
That's what I can see that. It's like, so like, start to harvest, start to plant seeds.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I can see your work ethic. I can see how you do stuff. And actually, yeah, I might like it, I might not. But what I might do is be like, actually, you guys have a same or kind of work together. Let's put you and you over here, Yeah, but I just feel like, again, it's this taking thing.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking people up. And we're all lost, Yeah. Like, if we don't do the inner work, but also come out of this Neverland thing. I think that we need to find a way to able to go to Neverland, but choose. I think people are like, it's kind of like Lord of the Flies. They're stuck on this flipping thing and they're trying to work together, but what they want to do is kill. They want to take. They want to, and even just a certain language, there's certain things over time I have to try and remind myself and what I ingest, and there's a certain language I hear from certain people. It's just like, yeah, I want to smoke, kill, I'm not religious or anything like that, but it's just like there's certain things where we need to know how we're saying and what we're ingesting and who we're around and stuff like that, because you are what you eat as well.
True.
Even like, I changed my diet maybe about 5-6 years ago. Big up Kenji for that.
Yeah.
And a few other people. But yeah, it's
I think also like, I think it's very nuanced, and this is why I think nuance is where a lot of people get fucking lost. But I think like I'm mad competitive, and like I see it. There's a difference between being competitive in an artistic and even in a business sense, as opposed to like burning your fucking resources. And I think I always think of like, Kendrick Lamar on the Control verse when he called out everyone. Yeah. That's the level of artistic and business competitiveness that I want to achieve, because some people got pissed about that and everyone wanted to have their fucking say. But a lot of those people on that list that he said didn't get pissed because they're like, sick. Like, this is what it should be about. And like, I'm kind of like that, where I've got close fucking friends who are very good at what they do. Damn right, I want to be better than you. Yeah. Like, I want to fucking be way better, and I want to, not in a way that you can't eat, but I want your business. I want to be the one that people think of. Like, as a videographer, I was talking to Toby the other week, and there's a lot of good videographers but I want to be the one that people call. I want to be the guy that they go, who makes good dance videos? Fucking Luke is the first person that comes to my head. Now, the difference being, I would never step over them to do that. If I ever saw an opportunity to pass on work, like I always do that. And I want to achieve that so that I can then give back to them and bring them, and they bring me, and stuff like that, and work with them. So I think that's where it gets confusing. It's like, or for some people, I think it's, you're fine to compete. You're fine to want to be the best, to kind of kill and smoke these people in an artistic or even in a business sense, in the sense of I'm bigger, I'm better, whatever, but not at the cost of them, and not in the way, in the wrong way. And I can't even really articulate what the right way is, but I know there's a right way.
I'm very much the same. And that's where it was like, for me, like, I want to be the guy, and like, and that's, again, it's like me saying, well, when I am in conversation or our paths cross, bigging up people, because I'm a fan of nearly everyone. I watch everyone. Like, people were like, oh, they watch me, or maybe even never heard of me. Like, I watched that dance at 68. I watched that dance at Bass. I watched that person come up in the hip hop theater scene. I watch everyone, and maybe I might not like the full thing, but I like how the way they thought about that. You know, or like, I like the way they, move and da. So like, big up everyone pretty much, because everyone from like, everyone who's at Loud Cloud, Rain Crew, Maryland, Boy Blue, everyone, I'm clocking everyone, because I'm like, fuck, that move is sick. The way they done that, da 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 da. So yeah, I'm mad competitive.
Yeah.
And that's how I think that the way I've built maybe my thing over time as well, become like, oh, that person's really stylish.
Yeah.
You know, and that's out people outside the dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me think about how I'm gonna, you know, put my shit together, or like seeing people putting out content and like, oh, okay, that person's put out content and really interesting. Let me find a way to da 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 da. You know, and yeah, like there's people. Well, the more closer people to me, like Quayle. You know, I used to see Quayle's work. I'm like, damn, how does he choreograph like that? Same as Simeon.
Yeah.
You know, like or even just like real life shit, like how if I'm reflecting about with the good stuff with Birdgang, it's just like how Kendra can just be so open hearted and love everyone, and I'm just like, oh, how do you do that? You know, like, but I would look at that and like, okay, I need to be a better person. How can I do that? And you know, maybe be more considerate and, you know, empathetic, you know, or how can I be a leader like Simeon? You know, like Simeon can just walk into the room and just command respect.
He is very like that.
You know? Yeah. Or like, how can I be artistic like Quayle? Like, I think Quayle's just like, you know, I remember even just doing my show Wildcard. I was commissioned to do Wildcard at Sadler's Wells. And
it was like the first Vice, was there?
Yeah, it was. So I commissioned the first Vice. He blew the show. He took he came and bodied the whole thing. And I was just like, but what I did was like, okay, cool. The next piece is gonna be bananas, I'm gonna work to level up. And it took me a while, and then the next big thing from that kind of showcase was a Harlem Dream, you know, and that was a full-on production. But what I did is collaborate with him. So he kind of helped, you know, he was my assistant director on that, and he helped me write the script, you know. And so instead of me like, fuck him, I said, bro, you're sick, innit? And I say to him sometimes like, yeah, you killed that. You know, and obviously look how great that was for him. He managed to get like Vice tours. You've been on it. Everyone's been on it, you know, like, I think even, Deanna Matos was before
She was
Quayle.
the first one, right?
Yeah, so it's
You mean
like,
before Tally?
Yeah, before Tally.
Quayle.
Yeah. Oh, before Quayle. Shame. But yeah, it was just, you know, I look at everyone as inspiration.
Yeah, man.
You know, like, okay, I like how the way Isaac Brandt, for instance, is putting his stuff into different things, and like how this person thought of doing a podcast, you know, and like how can I, you know, think of doing that, or even facilitate people to do that, you know. So that's even with my thing with Cross Platform and Ultraviolet. That's the name of the production company, and possibly the name of the studio, who knows. But it's just like able to get other people to do that dope shit. I'm like, okay, he's killing it. Okay, Toby's, you know, recording. I'm just kind of reflecting of the people who even you said. It's like, okay, I want to do that, but I need to go this way and learn. So what I'm doing most of the time, and when I do have free time, I'm just looking at YouTube. I'm looking at reading stuff about culture, looking at entrepreneurship, looking about going to events by myself. So sometimes you'll see me at like Dancers Delight or these events by myself. Because I'm just like, I'm interested. I'm keen, you know.
And it's kind of like professional research in a way.
And like, I don't know, I've got a thing where all the people who I look up to as mentors, you know, I'm trying to, usually it's like I even if they don't know they're my mentor, I've made that in my mind, because obviously some of my mentors are dead, you know, because they've died 100, 200 years ago or whatever.
But is it who you choose as that person to intake
like,
from?
I'm like, okay, I want to do it like that, you know. So even with Kenrick, you know, or even before that, before Boy Blue, I was with another group called Exposure. That's when I used to teach like Ajani and Robia when they were like 8 years old. Was like, oh, I want to be like Paulie, you know. And then I left that group, and then there's other people. And then Kenrick also came about in my life, and I was like, oh, okay, I want to do something like Kenrick, like build, you know. And that over time, and it didn't happen overnight, but Birdgang came about, you know, of like having a crew and being that crew. Boy Blue was that crew, and Birdgang had its moment, you know. John Z, you know, like, okay, hip hop theater, he's got a name himself in hip hop theater, or like the way the stuff he talks about, or like he's got breaking convention. cross-platform.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah, word.
And now I'm not based, but I'm at 180 The Strand, running 180 Studios, and now the owner of that, I'm like, cool. I'm seeing this building. I'm like, this is the next thing, you know. He's put so much people on, you know, and he's on his shit, you know. So yeah.
Do you ever find it hard to learn from people who have more success than you, but you think you're better than them creatively? And it's like you have to kind of take, because I struggle with this sometimes where I'm like, fuck, like you're in a position I want to be in somehow, but I think even now I think I'm better than you. I think I could do this job better than you, but something you did got you there and I'm not there.
Yeah.
So I have to learn from you while not really liking your stuff.
It's like business. If you're going speaking that in that sense of like the ins and outs and all the productions of stuff. There's certain people's work I'm like, but they know how to be on their shit.
Right.
Or we don't know what their process is like behind the scenes, you know? So yeah, their process might be on point. Their art might be cack. You know, but like they're on their shit. So yeah, most definitely. Like,
does it make you feel like you kind of have to, you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to have to like put myself in this mentee position, but
well, what I try to do is surround myself with people who are about that shit. So for instance, people, Lee Griffiths, she hasn't been really creating work for a long time, you know, but what she's amazing at is producing, working with community and putting people on. So I'm like, whoa, yeah. And you know, your man is amazing choreographer. You know,
so she's around the shit.
Like, she's around the shit. Everything. So like, you know, like I surround myself. So what she's helped me with, and even with Georgina Harper, that produces for Cross Platform, is like I want to surround myself with dons or people who want to become dons in their shit. Yeah, you know. There's different degrees of how close people are to me,
right?
You know, like I can still love them, but if you don't really want to be a don, you're not coming this close,
right? I hear you. Because is that like almost like an inspiration thing?
Yeah,
you need that drive around you.
I need that drive constantly. So I don't really consume nonsense,
right?
Like, you know, like sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, my life can be very boring. It might look really exciting on Instagram and all that shit, but it's like work, you know, because I see where I want to be. Yeah. You know, I know what rocks my chakras, shall we say. And what rocks my chakras is seeing people do well. Yeah. You know, looking at dope art, you know, all of that stuff. So that's what I consume, you know, and trying to understand my own processes. Because actually, even over time, I realized, I know tons of different processes. Because I watched it on YouTube. I don't know what my process is. You know, and actually I realized my process is I need to attack my mornings, you know, get myself up into a certain, build my fire. Like I need to watch something inspirational, you know. I haven't really been moving my body as much, but like when I'm not, when I, you know, I slap myself on the wrist, but when I'm on my shit, I need to do my yoga, you know, because actually I'm dancing every day anyway. I'm constantly doing something. Yeah. But like what activates me and gets my body going is yoga, you know, it's just that maintenance. And I usually need to interact with someone, you know. Luckily I have my woman who I live with, but like I need to engage, like just hold out a friend, just message, I think that gets me going, just checking in with them and seeing how they're doing, and you know, it's kind of like also that, I guess it's a bit cliche, but the thing of like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I think that extends to like you're the average of them, all the things that you intake. So if you're around certain people or you're intaking shit that doesn't get you going, you're gonna become that in a way. And like the people who, you know, I have certain people around me, they don't put themselves in a victim mentality. Yeah. And I've realized, you know, there were certain other people that I was like, oh, you're just in this victimization and like you're not gonna go anywhere if you don't get out of that. because it's fucked. Like I think a lot of us are in that.
Yeah.
You know, we put ourselves as this kind of helpless person, and like it's only us that's gonna pull ourselves out.
Yeah.
And we need to be brave enough. We need to be our own superheroes. We
Yeah.
need to write our own stories.
Bars.
Yeah.
I think it's really true, and like it may be that the reason you're a victim is a valid reason.
Yeah.
Or like you are actually a victim. Like you've been.
Yeah. I'm actually been a victim.
Yeah.
As well.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
you know?
Like you said, and even the stuff of like, you know, what we're talking about you being underrated and stuff like that, and like whether or not like that may be the case.
Yeah.
It may not, but it may be that it's like okay, even if people were walking around going, Ivan ain't shit, blah blah blah. It's like okay, but that doesn't. You can't ask them to change their mind. You have to make them, and you have to do something.
Yeah.
Yourself to pull yourself out.
And I
of
get
that,
it, especially 2020 has been a rough year, you know, and there's been so much things coming out, and you know, and people are getting. There's been a lot of change, you know. Even this year, like my grandmother passed, and that just rocked me, you know. And I was trying to hold on and just be like, I'm solid, but like I needed to go through that. It's
and that's
pain,
the balance as well of like, because I feel you on that, because I've had like that with Corona where I've been trying so hard to not be a victim that I'm feeling like shit. Like I've lost all my own work, and I was like really down as if I was a failure this year. And then like, you know, Jen or like my other friends are kind of like, but Corona, like, you know, it's not all your fault, you know? And I'm like, okay, I have to find the balance between, okay, I'm not going to blame Corona. I'm not going to blame myself for losing all my work, but also I have to recognize it's my responsibility to get the work back. Corona isn't going to come and give me my work back. So yes, it's taken it, but now if I spend too long being a victim about it, and I think, you know, that probably applies with everything. It's like, yes, there may be things that actually are hard, and you have to give yourself, you have to be kind with yourself and understand you're not, you know, there are external forces that can hold you down. Yeah. But they're not going to lift you back up. Yeah. You're the one that has to do that.
Exactly. So, and like, what can I do now? Because for a very long time I was looking here. Yeah. I'm also looking behind me, just checking who's coming up. Yeah. You know, or like what am I bringing? All of this stuff. So I'm either looking forward, and it's like anxiety starts to come, or I'm looking back and depression. And it's like, no, that's what COVID has done for me. It's like, but what do I have now? You know, who am I now? You know, who do I have around me? Like, and I realize when I'm like, I have people who love me. You know, I have people who are ready to ride. Or I need to say, let's go. But I'm sometimes just here, you know, like they have the blinkers on, you know, and then I'm looking here and I might see them passing, but I'm so worried about what's happening behind me, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. And I think there's a lot of stuff that I always talk about this, but like there's the blessing and the curse of a lot of different things. So it's like this blinkers on kind of mentality, and being able to see so far in the future is something that's made you so successful. Yeah. But then you have the bad side of it, which is like, you need to be able to, I always talk about it like the guy from X-Men, Cyclops?
Yeah, Cyclops, yeah.
And it's like, okay, there's a lot of artistic things that is like the raw, unfiltered thing, and he's just cutting down trees and stuff. Yeah. And it's like, you need to learn to have those glasses, and it's like, you need to be able to turn this power on when you want it, but also turn it off when it's time to like, you know, like see the people around you that love you. And it's like, if you're always like just shooting these beams, you're never gonna be able to control it, have a normal fucking conversation with someone. I think we'll start to wrap it up, because that was fucking sick. You know what I wanted to ask you? I don't know if you remember, this is just so off topic, but I remember when I was first starting dancing, we were at this house party together. I don't know whose house it was. And I remember you walked me to the station. I was with my girlfriend at the time. And I remember we were talking there. I think at the time you were like quite young. But just like, this is one of my first memories of actually talking to you. So it was someone from Bird's house party. It was, I know where it was. It was after choreographer's ball. Do you remember when it was in Tropsy?
Yeah.
There was a house party after that, and I don't know whose house it was. Jamal was there. A lot of the Bird guys.
You know, I used to party quite a lot back in the day.
Did you? Maybe it was where you lived. Did you used to live with anyone from Bird?
Yeah, it was me and Simeon used to live together. We used to throw parties all the time.
It might be at that
I think
place.
it might be you know what?
In North.
Yeah. You know what? I think I have a picture of it somewhere. Is it like, everyone was there?
Yeah, it was bare people.
Yeah, because that's how actually, again, the seeds of cross-platform, man.
Really?
It is like, it's like, you know, I always used to like throwing events and gathering people together. And yeah, it's just interesting. It was like when an idea comes to your head, it's interesting of how you are going to get there. Because I remember being in secondary school, I was like, and then I was watching a lot of MTV, like MTV Cribs, and that's when the first time I've heard like the word mogul. Like, okay, that's a mogul. Now look at Diddy, Master P, and all of that stuff, and it's like, okay, so how do I get there? Okay, I need to be an A&R. I need to look after artists or work with artists, or I need to build something, and it's starting to happen.
Mad.
With like cross-platform, ultraviolet, but also alongside that, being able to run other businesses, like, and still being an artist. So
that was starting from young.
Yeah, I think it was like I definitely wanted to like find a little confession is I wanted to be a music artist, and I think that's how I always wanted to push my visual out.
Right.
So when you see my visual, it's like a music artist. I can't sing.
But it's like your dance is your version of that.
Yeah, and this is my instrument, Sick. This is how I want to be, and that's where I want to take dance, I was like, no shade to anyone, but I it's one the viral moment that just comes and go, I stop relying on this thing. Like, we can be on that front day's cover, we can become the artists, and be respected just as much as the music artists, and that's how I think we need to start thinking. You can't do that or be that if you're still dancing to other people's music. Collaborate with a music producer or write your own music.
It's like adjusting the perception of dancers.
Yeah, if you don't know how to do it, get someone who done. I've worked with tons of people that shot my own stuff. So yes, it's filtered through my my creativity, and I came up with a concept, but like I had to work with other people, to push it out. But I think that's where we need to. Not everyone needs to think like that, like, because not everyone wants to become big stars.
Consider it and see if that's your path.
Consider it if you want to really make something or want to eat from that, because I think we're in an age of the multidisciplinary artists, and if you're not multidisciplinary, you're gonna die.
That's some bars, yo.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Super appreciate you coming.
All good, man.
It's a fucking pleasure to talk to you. Like I said, someone that I've like looked up to for a long time, and I really love your work, and I'm super happy to see you doing well.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah, guys, if you're listening, like, comment, subscribe, all that. Keep locked in. I'm going to keep going. But obviously, the more people that want it to keep going, the more I will keep going. Or at least the more I'll have the drive to keep going.
Nah, man, you just keep banging it anyway. Like, it will land after a while. Again, it might take 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm just keeping the consistency and hoping that does the trick. But yeah, thanks, guys. And I will see you next week. Boom.